Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Howdy, all y'all. This is Red O'Loughlin on the USA Global TV and Radio Network and on the E360 TV Network. We're finishing up an 8-part series on pain management. We're concentrating today primarily on pain prevention, something that most people never think about. But let me get my slide set up here quickly so we can get started. There we go. As a disclaimer, I'm not a medical person, never been in the pharmaceutical industry. I'm a researcher. I research the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat symptoms, and you'll always be treating symptoms. I fell in love with chemistry about 15 years of age. I think I was a 14, 15 sophomore in high school and took a chemistry course. I just absolutely loved it. Got a degree in it and then got an invitation to Vietnam, so I never got a chance to practice it. About 10 years ago, my wife came down with breast cancer. And as a caregiver, I started looking into the side effects of the drugs she was taking and what can I do as a caregiver to help. And I found just a new world that if you start looking at the human body, there's lots of things going on. And if you understand that this causes that, and that causes that, and that causes that. But if I stop that from happening, this doesn't happen down there. There's a lot of things we have. And when we're talking here about pain, pain like weight, like a number of different things, is all individual. The same person, the same pain stimulus is going to affect two people differently. So the responses are going to vary, but all in all, pain is a complex physiological and psychological experience that serves as a protective mechanism and alerts the body of any potential harm or damage. If we didn't have that instant feedback to say, stop doing what you're doing, we could end up in some serious problems. So, but the definition of pain has been one that's been very difficult to identify. And over time, they've decided they really need to bring in both the physiological and the psychological because both have an effect. So let's talk about pain prevention. What is it? I'm talking primarily in the non-drug treatment things. I want pain where it's not going to restrict me from doing whatever I want to do physically. I want something that works well for everyone and literally something that can start today. You know, part of our overall project here at the USA Global TV and Radio Network and E360 TV Network is that we want to provide awareness. That's the first basic understanding level of whatever topic we happen to have. And from that awareness level, provide education that people can research on their own, but really be able to go out and talk to their doctor, to their medical professional with a better understanding of what might be the cause, what could be an answer or solution, and what options you really have. So if you understand it from that perspective, sometimes you go there, oh, doctor, this hurts, but well, if you don't know all the other details coming in, we don't know how to treat you. Okay. If I look at pain prevention, I say, what do you do to prevent a car wreck? So if I'm having a conversation, say with Dr. Jacqueline, and we are sitting there back and forth, and she says, well, you know, I could have regular checkups to make my car safe. Well, regular maintenance. You know, let's just keep everything going. One of the big ones is awareness of your surroundings. If it's raining like crazy outside and stuff blowing across the freeway and other cars out of control, you know, awareness, situational awareness is a major process. Being careful, if you're doing 80 miles an hour. I just happened to find an 80-mile-an-hour speed limit sign on Interstate 10 in Texas last weekend. Kind of surprised me. 75 is the standard, but and 85 in one part of Texas is a posted limit, but 80 kind of surprised me. But if I'm doing 80, I don't want to be the same distance behind the car in front of me as if I'm doing 35. And also, if I'm going to prevent a car wreck, I want to plan effectively. And so those are things, if I take that same rationale that I want to prevent a car wreck from happening, and I say, how can I prevent pain? Well, let's look at that. So if I maintain a healthy diet, in other words, balanced nutrition, caloric restriction, the things that I need to get the 30, 32 minimum daily requirements from a nutrient perspective. That's what I need on a regular basis. I'm not going to have situations develop, disease develop, because I'm low in, say, vitamin B12, which can mimic Alzheimer's down the road, or I'm low in electrolytes, which can cause heart issues, or I'm low in some other mineral or vitamin or enzyme or whatever it may happen to be. So maintaining a healthy diet is absolutely, if I'm going to prevent pain from happening, why take a chance on creating an environment in my body that I would promote pain? I don't want to do that. So a healthy diet, I think, is absolutely number one. And if you're going to have a healthy diet, it has to be balanced from a nutritional perspective. Regular exercise. Again, a lot of us have changed our exercise profiles over the years. What we used to do as a teenage years, our 20s, our 30s, et cetera, by the time you get your 50s, 60s, it's not near the same. And we start seeing issues. But it's just not exercise. It can be something as simple as walking if we haven't done exercise in a while. Strength training is extremely important. Cardiovascular training is a must. But we need balance. We need stretching. We need flexibility. We need our endorphins being released, because that, again, is kind of plays down that level of pain perception when you have the endorphins there. The sleep part of our lives is something that we've really never paid much attention to. Some of us sleep so well, others just seem to be never in good sleep. And there's lots of reasons why. Let's say you have a couple, 3 glasses of wine just before you go to bed. Wine is an alcohol. It's treated by the body as a poison, as a toxin. And unless the body gets rid of it, it's not going to go to sleep. So you go to sleep, you may have a little bit of that just good, happy feeling from drinking a lot. And at 2:07 in the morning, you wake up bright eyed. Well, your body has finished processing all the alcohol. Now it's ready to get back to the digestive process. And so you're disrupting your sleep. If you have a major meal an hour before you go to bed, again, you're causing the sleep process to be uprooted a little bit. But we need the sleep in order to make repairs to our muscles, to the molecules in our body. That's when the body repairs itself. That's that rest and relaxation is actually coming to fruition. And everything that went on that day, now I have a chance to repair everything. So sleep is super critical. Eating late, alcohol, a lot of stress, a lot of, if you're looking at your tablet, your iPad, your computer, your cell phone, that hour before you're going to bed, you're again creating a lot of blue light intensity that may create some problems. Hydration. Being adequately hydrated prevents muscle cramps, headaches, and more. Hydration is a thing that we have control over. I'm sitting here at the computer deal, and I got my water. Sometimes it's tea, but hydration is something we need to do on a regular basis. If you're not going to the bathroom a half a dozen times a day, maybe there's something wrong with your hydration protocol. Ergonomic environment, your workspace. You want a workspace that I'm not reaching over to grab something over here. I'm not looking back up over there to read something. So if I want to be able to have an ergonomic environment, something that is planned where I really reduce the risk of injury, maybe to my wrist, my back, my neck, whatever it may happen to be. I look at where things are at. Are they easy to get to? Is my posture okay? A lot of things that I'm looking at in my work environment. Posture. Are we conscious about our posture? If not, and we're bent over and we keep that for years, decades, we're going to end up with nerve damage, disc herniation, spinal arthritis, skeletal pain, a lot of issues because of repeated abuse of not being able to keep a good, nice, straight posture. So if you're sitting there and you bend over, you're typing, take that extra moment, sit up, kind of stretch back a little bit, and be aware that, okay, I need to keep my head up a little bit more. Anyway, it's a consciousness. Those are the things that we need to do there. Stress management, one of those things that we should be doing almost hourly, at least several times a day, but most of us don't. It can be something as little as smiling, laughing, but take that deep breath, hold it. Doesn't have to be very long, 20 seconds, a minute, maybe longer. But that calms down the body, calms down our blood pressure, reduces a lot of things. Meditation, yoga. There's a lot of things that are related to stress, pain, tension headaches, neck aches. So if you're maintaining your stress, managing it properly, you're reducing the likelihood that you're going to have a stress related pain issue. So you're preventing pain from being a headache, from being a neck ache, from being a shoulder ache, lower back problem, lots of issues there. Speaking of lower back problems, believe it or not, smoking has a tendency to create lower back issues. I don't know why. It's just one of those things I found in the research, and more than one place. It wasn't just a single one. But smoking also can create abdominal pain, joint pain. But more importantly, smoking increases your pain sensitivity. So that if you take the exact same injury, two people, one's a smoker, one isn't, all else being equal, the person who is a smoker is going to perceive more pain associated with that injury, trauma event than somebody who's not a smoker. We've been talking about weight, fat, pain, lots of different things, but weight seems to be the seems to be the major program today that we've been talking about. But weight management. If you have that extra 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds that you're carrying around, it's going to create a problem. You're going to have stress on your bones, on your joints. Arthritis is a very good likelihood. You're going to have lower back issues, herniated discs, pinched nerves. Just weight creates lots and lots and lots of problems. And I've known some very healthy people that are 50 pounds overweight. They can do almost anything. But again, it's that extra weight carried for decades, and that becomes a problem. So if I'm looking at trying to prevent something that's going to happen 20 years down the road, then weight management becomes something within my purview that, okay, I can tolerate maybe 20 pounds overweight. Don't want it, but I can tolerate it. But I can't tolerate 50 pounds overweight. That's something that my body will not adapt to over time. Regular checkups. If I have a regular health physical, I'm screened for various diseases, my blood tests, all the other x-rays and everything people do. I know where I'm at this point in time. If something changes, I can go back and say, at that point in time, everything was fine. So it happened between here and here. I've told many people over the course of these shows that I do that I have not missed an annual physical since 1968. That was when I did I've had them prior to that, but not every single year. But at that point in time, I was getting ready to go in the military. So I had an aviation physical, 31 years of flying, 31 years in the aviation field. I had to have a physical every year, 16 years of flying. But I had one as soon as I got out of the military in 1999. I continued with my regular physicals with my doctor. I always ask for extra screening way above and beyond what is normally required. I ask for C-reactive protein, homocysteine, and other tests so that I know where I'm at. And sometimes the insurance covers it, and sometimes it doesn't. But that's what it is. I want to know where I'm at with regard to my health. Regular checkups is going to give you that. I mentioned at the end of the last show, being able to get a scale that has the little electrical pads at the bottom. You stand on barefoot, and it's going to read 10, 15 or more different aspects of your body's profile. It may be visceral fat, it may be skeletal mass, bone mass, lots of different things. So a $20, $30, $40 investment, it goes to your phone, it's recorded. Now you have something you've taken every week, every month, every 2 weeks, whatever. You end up going to the doctor and say, well, here's how my visceral fat has been reduced over the last 16 months. Lots of things are available. We just don't know about it. Injury prevention. If we look at using the right kind of safety equipment, we follow the safety guidelines. We have somebody there to back up. I used to be able to climb up on a small ladder or a step stool and just go do things myself. Nowadays, my wife is behind me, and if she's doing something like that, I'm behind her. It's not that either one of us is going to fall off, but you never know when all of a sudden you turn your head, you get a little dizzy, things happen, you can't figure out what's going on, you can't grab a hold of something. Having that backup person there is critical. Understanding what you're doing and what you're doing it. I mean, I can't tell you how many bags of fertilizer and mulch and things like that I've taken out of the trunk of my car. Boom, boom, just year after year. And I remember one time I had taken out 4 or 5 out, and I just go over there just as lackadaisical as can be. I reach in and I grab and yank one out, and I really yanked something in the lower part of my back that irritated me for months. So it's paying attention. If you're lifting something, pay attention to what you're doing. Hygiene, infection control. Obviously, if you let something become septic, you're going to end up with a lot of problems. So if you're washing your hands regularly, you're taking advantage of the proper kind of infection control, you're reducing a possibility of something happening in the future. Okay, stretching, flexibility, and I'm saying concentration in that area. As we get older, we're finding that being able to stand on one foot, and it becomes more difficult. Try it. You stand next to something so you don't fall over, and just stand on one foot. How well can you do it for 1 minute, 2 minutes? This didn't become fully aware to me until I had knee surgery several years ago. All of a sudden, I'm trying to stand on the leg that I had the knee surgery on, and I'm serious. I could not stand on that leg for more than a half a second. I eventually got it back up to over a minute, but it took a lot of concentration, a lot of muscle focus to get that my 2 legs back to being somewhere near equal, where if I stood on my left leg by itself and my right leg, I'm still looking at a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes on each without a problem. But if I'm stretching properly, I have my flexibility, I'm minimizing any joint mobility issues that I might have in the future. I'm minimizing any kind of muscle tension issues because I'm taking that stretching, that flexibility exercise and applying it now so that down the road I don't have that problem. Now, sometimes we go out for a walk. Okay, I want to start walking. I go out and the first mile is not a problem. And I do it every day. I increase it to 1.5 miles, 2 miles, not a problem. Everything's fine. And then all of a sudden I start having an ankle problem, a shin problem. And this, whether you're running or walking, there's a lot of things that can happen to your legs, your hips, your ankles, and most of them are preventable. But you got to start at the first end, just like I talked about injury prevention up there with the right safety equipment. If you're doing some exercise, such as running or walking, make sure you have the right kind of footwear, something that's comfortable, something that supports you the way it should be. A lot of times with the plantar fasciitis, you wake up one morning, you get out of bed, and all of a sudden you get all sorts of pain in your foot. Those things are all controllable, but you have to know in advance what to look for and what you can do to change it. Medication management, that may not sound like much, but if you're on a prescription drug, let's say for diabetes, or maybe another one for high blood pressure, or maybe another one for something else, there may be some issues with that you need to be aware of. If one of them, say, is vomiting and diarrhea, and all of a sudden you have an increased rate of vomiting and diarrhea, and you look at your prescription meds, okay, that's probably that one. But if it's lasting for a long period of time and there's nothing in any of the medicines that you're taking, maybe it's time to talk to somebody. So just because you're taking medicine doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get all of the side effects they say. Sometimes you'll get some, sometimes you won't. But look at the prescription drugs you're taking. Know the side effects from them. Know what the contraindications are. In other words, if I'm taking this diuretic and I'm taking this antidepressant, I can't take the two of those together because they're contraindicated. That's not what the medical industry wants you to do. If you can't get in touch with your doctor, go to your local pharmacist. They have amazing amount of information that they're willing to share. Heat and cold therapy when injured, get it on right away. Physical therapy down the road to manage and prevent pain. There's a lot of physical therapy that if you're just doing it right, you're going to prevent pain in the future. I love massages. They get that muscle strain, that tension out of the way very, very rapidly. It's a lot of things can be done, and maybe all you need is that one massage a month. Maybe for others, if you're ending up with a lot of headaches, a lot of neck tension, yeah, it may be because of some of the things in your job. My daughter wears about a 40-pound vest because she's a deputy sheriff. She has her gun and all the rest of that stuff that she carries. She ends up with a lot of neck pain. Well, she gets in for a massage, boom, it's gone for 2 weeks. So a lot of things are dependent on what we do with our normal life. Sometimes some aspects of our pain perception is brought on by our ability to think, to cope. Well, there's a particular branch of psychology called cognitive behavioral therapy, and there's a lot of different parts of that. And it can be adapted for managing pain, the pain perception, not necessarily the pain itself. If I have a swollen joint in my hand, my wrist, my fingers, it's not going to change that. That there are other things that we need to do that. But the way my brain perceives that pain can be changed. And that's a very good aspect of that CBT, of being able to go in there and, well, what can I do to change my perception of pain? And these are things you can even do in advance before you even have that pain there. So a lot of good things to be said for that. Sometimes social support. And by this, I mean, something happens in our lives. A person dies, a person's injured, a person's going through a divorce. Lots and lots and lots of things. Your boss pisses you off. It doesn't matter what it is, but we need some level of social coping, something that we can talk to somebody on the phone, go over, have a cup of coffee with, a beer, whatever it may happen to be. But we have somebody we can share our emotional pain. It's kind of like your stress reduction. These are things that allows us to get in there and do that trade-off of, let me just kind of bare my soul to you. But that allows that. We talked about the pain perception in our brain. When I can share some of my pain with somebody, what was that expression that President Clinton, I can feel your pain. Basically, there's a lot to be said in the coping part of our grieving processes, any kind of emotional pain that we have, that if we have the ability to share it with someone else, that is really and truly super important. As with cognitive behavioral therapy and with social support, any kind of mind-body practice, something that promotes our mental and emotional health, because the perception of pain we have when we know what's going on can be addressed. I mean, you have the exact same pain, but all of a sudden, when it's being processed in the brain, it goes through that little gate in the back of our neck, gets into our brain. The perception of what that pain really is can be changed. And that's what the beauty of a lot of these awareness programs that we have is, if I can change the perception and it's just a matter of doing something, wouldn't that be nice that I no longer have that really sharp pain? Maybe it's dull, maybe it's intermittent, maybe it goes away. But that's what I want to do with my pain. So there are some natural pain reliefs that you ought to have in your house: curcumin, turmeric, boswellia, cloves, fish oil, resveratrol. If you don't have them, at least get a couple of them. You never know when you're going to need them. I like whole fruit mangosteen juice, ginger, cayenne pepper, bromelain, green tea. All of those things are very, very good at addressing pain at its onset and for treating pain after it's already there. We've talked about these in earlier episodes here about each one of the way pain is created and what you can do to address the actual physical process of the one chemical to the next, to the next, to the next. So if I can shut it down at the arachidonic acid level before it gets to cyclooxygenase 2, I've done a major portion in my pain control, pain prevention. Our bodies make palmitoyl ethanolamide, PEA, if you're looking it up under the network, PEA, pain control by a pill. Our bodies make it. We just don't make as much of it as we used to. A lot of essential oils are very, very, very good for pain treatment. So everyone, doesn't have everyone is not the same with pain, but awareness, education, and being able to take the right action is going to make a difference. So wrapping things up here, the USA Global TV and Radio Network is on YouTube. The archives, go there, go to the playlist, go to Talking Heads, Red O'Loughlin, and you'll be able to find all the topics that we talked on the last year and a half, 2 years, from heart health, nutrition, stress, toxins, fat management, weight management, lots and lots and lots of things on longevity, lifestyle. Those things are there and available. So please make use of it. And you can reach me at red or redolaughlin.com, my website, red, R-E-D, O'Loughlin, OLAUGHLIN.com. And in my banner, I have my phone number, my email address, all that stuff is found there. But with regard to my books, No Matter What You Can Do, it talks about the subconscious mind, what you can do, not do, to be in control of your life. The Joy of Ageless Health talks about the 5 or 6 primary causes of disease at the cellular level. What can you do to accelerate or decelerate the disease process? Longevity Secrets for Healthy Aging talks about the 2 primary causes of aging, what you can do also to accelerate or decelerate the aging process. Understanding the Cause of Alzheimer's and the Essential New Author's Guide are also available on Amazon. Catch you all next week. Thank you very much. Bye now.